Today was day 2 of ConNooga, and I actually have my schedule here because I really don't remember what I did today. Let's see. We went to Hollywood Batman first, and they basically talked about all the different Batman films and basically what we think of them and how they differ from like the comic books a little bit. And we talked about each. Well, I guess each of the Batman series. They skipped the 40s one because no one had ever heard of it. And then they talked about Adam West forever. Like, I feel like we talked about Adam West for like 30 minutes. And then they went on and they talked about the Tim Burton ones. And then they were just kind of like, so Joel Schumacher made some. Yeah, all right, moving on. We talked about that for like 5 minutes. And then, you know, we like barely had any time to talk about Christopher Nolan or anything. But, yeah, it was great. That one was a lot of fun. But I got commented on. They commented on my makeup. They're just like, oh yeah, speaking of Joker, you know, blah 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 blah. You know, there's all different kinds of Jokers, like the one in the back. And I was like, oh, that's me. But yeah. So then after that, we went to movie makeup thing, and they talked about how to. Not really how to do movie makeup, but like some tips on airbrushing and tips on doing makeup and like don't use latex if the person's allergic to latex, you know, like duh. But it was a lot of really good stuff, and they mentioned like a local makeup store, so now I know where I can get more face makeup. So now I have no excuse not to make another Joe Good video. But yeah, we'll get to that. But that was a lot of fun. And while they were doing it, they had 2 people, you know, putting on makeup, and so they bloodied the guy up real good and made him look dead, and it was great, and they answered questions and stuff. But then we moved on to how to survive the zombie apocalypse, and I think they put us in the smallest room available with like not even enough chairs. So we had like 50 people crammed into this really tiny room. And it was just kind of crazy, because it wasn't so much like, you know, oh, you're gonna need this, blah, blah, blah. Like they talked about, was it crazy bags, panic bags or something? Oh, I can't remember what it was. Yeah, crazy bags. I don't know, like I guess like an emergency kit that you'll need, you know, food, change of clothes, you know, some water and some ammunition, you know, keep that. But then everyone in the room had their own, like, zombie apocalypse plan, and they all insisted on sharing it. And some of these people sounded like they were actually serious. Like, we invested in a blah, 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 and we got blah, blah, blah. And one guy's like, oh, yeah, I'm always packing a blah, blah, blah gun. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you're doing what? You're always packing a what? As in, like, right now? You know, like, should I leave the room? And there were these 3 little kids in front of me, and they were just rattling off, like, gun names and stuff. Like, oh, yeah, I've shot blah, 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 and I'm gonna get a blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? You're, like, 6. Like, you're not even Justin Bieber's age. But, yeah, that was really weird. But it was kind of, you know, fun to hear everything. But after that, I stayed in that room, and I pretty much Doctor Who'd it up for the next 2 sessions. We talked about, they went over season 5, and they talked about like each episode individually. We actually got through all of it, you know, and they're like, what's your opinion, blah, 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 blah. It was really great. And then after that, they talked about who is the Doctor, and they're like, yeah, we're going to talk about all 11 Doctors, you know. I'm like, in an hour? No, you're not. You know, by 30 minutes into it, we've gotten to like Doctor 4, you know. So I was like, we're not going to make it to 11. And we didn't. We went to like 7. Which I guess that's pretty good. 7 or 9. I don't know. They all kind of blurred together after a while. I was like, in all honesty, just wake me up when you get to 10. Because that's when I tuned in. I guess 9. Yeah, wake me up when you get to 9. Because then I'll know what you're talking about. And then we had some free time. So we went to the vendors. And I got this super cute Boo hat. It's so cute. And they also had some buttons. Buttons, I love buttons. I got Doctor Who. Oh. And, of course, Batman. And Deadpool, yeah. And the Daleks. Ah. And I ain't afraid of no ghost. Because that's awesome. And, of course, my absolute favorite episode from Doctor Who and one of my favorite songs, Don't Blink. So that was really exciting. They had a bunch of other buttons that I wanted to get to, but I was like, I'm not walking out of here with like 50 bazillion buttons because that would be weird. And let's see. After that, we went to another costume thing, and they were talking about like, you know, some good tips on costuming, like wear proper undergarments and test out your costume to make sure it's not see-through, and, you know, like, this is how you should handle photographers and being photographed and blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it was really good. It was really some good stuff. Then we went to the costume contest that was supposed to start at 6, but did not start until 7:30 because they had so many people entering the costume contest, and they were just like, oh, we're just going to need more time, which is funny because I heard a lot of people saying that happened last year. And I was like, so they didn't anticipate it happening again? Like, I don't know. So, you know, we had some cheap entertainment of a guy dressed like Lady Gaga dancing. And that was pretty good. I have video of that. I'll try and put it up. Yeah, that was pretty good. So then after that, I went back to Doctor Who. My sister went to a Walking Dead panel that had been canceled, but everyone still like gathered and continued to talk about Walking Dead anyway. And so I went back and talked about literary influences on Doctor Who and Doctor Who influencing other medias. That was a lot of fun. And then, you know, we were pretty much done for the day, so I came back here. Ah! But yeah, I'm a jokette today, as you can tell. Kitty. Oh, and do you know how many times people said, hey, why so serious to me? And I was like, there's not really a response to that, so I can't really say anything back. But I had that said to me several times. I scared a small child, which I felt really bad because I was just sitting there eating, and she's like, and I'm like, sorry, you know, please don't cry in front of me. And then this other child was like hiding behind the bushes, and he kept poking up and like shooting me with his fake gun. So I'd be like, woo! Every time I poked up, I'd be like, what? And, you know, I was just watching him. He's like, oh, and hide back down. It was fun. But I did get recognized as a jokette by one of the girls. When I first walked into the Batman panel, she was like, Puddin', and I'm like, Harley, where are you? But, you know, I was kind of surprised. And so then later she was like, oh, you're not the Joker, you're one of the Jokettes or whatever from like Jokette Diaries. I was like, yeah, except not really from the Jokette Diaries. But she was like, oh, yeah, cool, yeah. And, you know, it was great. So it was a good day. Really good day.